keep, or she didn't want to get rid of the kid. But damn, bro, step up. Eagle Z, I appreciate the Twitch Prime sub. Cause you know, like throwing the line in the water and mad the fish bite the bait. I don't like, bro. You're nutted in the bitch, bro. Okay, she wants to keep it and you don't. But it takes two to tango. That's why I'm saying this L Pops chat. Cause even though y'all can't get rid of the kid, you know what I'm saying? Abortion is different on everybody, bro. You know, that could fuck people up mentally. I know we kind of make it just seem like, oh, just get rid of the kid, man. Just smoke that motherfucker. But everybody don't feel like that, chat. Some people literally look at it like murder. You know what I'm saying? I'm not going to sit here and I look at like a 4-week abortion the same as 4 months. But I draw the line totally to say that murder is murder. You know what I'm saying? I'm not going to say I feel the same about it, but like, you got to stand on something, bro. You got to have some type of integrity. So either you like it or you don't. And I'm going to say I don't like it. But guess what? Stop being reckless, man. Stop being reckless, chat. That's all I'm going to say. You know how Ferrari still cares about how you represent their car and brand, that they say the car, the father still got to care when he gives his seed to her. Right, and a lot of niggas, if you just fucking anything and everything, bro, you're not even thinking, like, this is going to be my child. This is going to be my son. Now, guess what, chat? Can we just have thought experiments? Are y'all gonna follow me, chat? I'm gonna just think out loud. We just gonna have thought conversations. We just gonna chat. Y'all know how I usually do. So I don't even know why I'm asking for permission, but I want y'all to follow me along here. I kind of started thinking about like the state of how things are. Not just on the level of like, I seen a post earlier. You know what? I seen a post earlier that really made me think about this. But I already was thinking about it, right? But I seen a post, and I hope I screenshotted it. I did. All right, ready, chat? Are the ads running or no? What's your standpoint on giving game to people that are older, they don't recognize because you're younger? What's your input on this? I mean, knowledge is knowledge. You know, if they were to discriminate my age and not my results or my ability to produce results in another person, I wouldn't have to get offended because the proof is in the pudding. I'm a very well-versed communicator. I've news articles written about speeches that I have given. Different speeches in different settings to all educated levels of groups of people. In front of politicians, president of my university, and then college students, high school students. I've done it all. So I would like to think I know what I'm talking about, but the proof is in the pudding, as they say. But y'all, so there's no ads running? So all right, chat, we about to just jump off the cliff, chat. I just feel like having this conversation. I don't know why. Should I cut the music off, chat, or should we just let the music vibe in the back? Is selling their dreams to bitches a good idea for them to fall for you? If not, why? You know why selling dreams ain't the play? Cause when she wake up, then what happens? I mean, you might have just wanted sex anyway. So by the time she wake up from the dream, you already got the sex. I guess both parties is happy. But when you are the dream and you ain't gotta sell it, she fuck with you the long way. See, you don't deal with all the shit that people deal with when they talking about, oh, my chick left me for such and such and I caught her doing this and she was doing, unless she was a whore to begin with. And I'm defining whore as somebody that goes against their morals or you know, integrity that they agreed upon. And when I say whore in that context, I'm saying she just wanted to fucking fuck everybody. Even if she had a boyfriend or a husband or you name it. Right? What if she fuck one nigga or 100? Or the same vice versa. You switch it. If you as a man say, all right, I'm not doing this, and then you do that, you a whore. You went against your word. You could have just told her like, yo, I'm not going to be tied down to just one woman. You could leave or you could stay with that information put on the table. That's a whole different conversation, Chad. That's a whole different conversation. Let's step into this though. All right, no music. keep it, let it vibe, cut it. Some of y'all said vibe, some of y'all said cut it. I see a lot more vibe, so we just gonna let the music vibe. So like I said, I was having this epiphany. Because I like thought experiments, right? I'm a thinker. So I started thinking a lot about, the different factors. I like no music. I do too. Fuck the music. Even though that's Babyface Ray. Babyface Ray, that's my fucking guy. Now listen. I was thinking about how, like, the trajectory of our society, how we have been evolving, the direction that we're going in, right? And I had this whole epiphany chat, and I was thinking this in a conversation with my mans. I'm going to give some pre-context, right? So, let's just think about how, what triggered this actually, for me to think about this and talk about this on stream, is how the guy came in earlier and said, oh, I got trapped by a woman. And you look at how the state of relationships are. What do we know about the state of relationships, chat? It is more combative than ever, than it probably ever has been. It's so ass. It's like everybody just want to have sex. There's no value in family. There's not even any value in children. It's like popularized to kill children by whatever means. It's popularized to abandon children. Lack of fathers in households. Now, we're not even talking about the whys yet. We're just looking at how things look. We're not talking about why. We're just looking at things, right? We're just observing. Now, listen. Only in America, I'm American. What do you think I was talking about? Saturn or Mars? Listen, if we're having a deep thinking conversation and you say something stupid like that, you fucked the whole train of thought up. Hold on, chat. This, yeah. Hold on, cause I gotta get my laugh off. That is crazy. He said only America. I live in America, buddy. So what do you think I was talking about? Jupiter? Come on, bro. I need you to catch up, bro. I thought you was I need you to catch up. Right? So listen, people don't care about children no more, or the values of having a family, or even the idea that a man and a woman, or a two-parent household, or prioritizing the children, etc. This just isn't popularized nowadays. It's so far from it, right? What does it look like, chat? It looks like all bitches are the same. It looks like stack money, get your status, get your clout. That's all you need in life. Man, as long as you got that nice ass car, as long as you got whatever you need materialistically, you good. For the men and the woman. Because that's where the whole independent woman thing came from. Have these things and you'll have all you need. Same thing, for the men. And we're looking at a time where depression is at an all-time high. Drug addictions are at an all-time high. Crime is at an all-time high. And it seems as though, as a species, now check, I gotta realize when I start talking like this, I'm like talking so outside of myself, my thoughts just be wandering, right? As a species, it's obvious, it's apparent that we always have to be obtaining something. That's just drives our condition as humans. Even if I'm a drug addict and I'm obtaining a high, I'm losing my whole body. It's deteriorating my skin, it's my teeth, whatever the case may be. I'm obtaining this. I'm always trying to obtain something. Even someone who is suicidal is still trying to obtain something. Freedom or peace. Even when you feel as though there's no reason to live, you still have that thing that you're trying to obtain by getting rid of your life. So when you really think about it, on all spectrums, on all edges, on all forefronts, we are always trying to obtain something. And when you look at the current condition of society, when the priority is materialistic, we suffer. Well, not only do we suffer because there is a huge tilt and who has all the materialistic things, as we know, the top 1%. When all this, like, when it starts really leaning hard and it gets to the extremes, and the problem is that there's enough to go around, right? And I don't mean that the idea of someone being poor would never exist, but I mean people having the bare essentials, right? You still have the driving idea that you need to obtain something, as I just talked about. So when you go back and everyone is holding and hoarding what's worth obtaining, clout, status, money, you name it, women, whatever, right? And then you have the rest of the population who is still following the belief of that they need to obtain those things, right? And they can't get it. That's when people get desperate. That's when people start doing all types of things, right? And believing that they need to obtain it or striving to obtain it is so fulfilling for people that they don't even care what they lose. Now, what point am I getting at? What point am I getting at, right? My point is that we're not fulfilled by working towards obtaining materialistic things. We work better when, shout out to Kid BTO with the 8 months. My point at getting at is that we work better when we wanted to obtain things that were more community oriented. Even if it was men going to war. What were they obtaining? Honor. I mean, in their minds. I'm not talking about quite literally. They probably were raiding some country and stealing resources and fighting for the agenda of another. Right, whatever, right? But in their minds, what were they obtaining? Honor. They were fighting for the freedom of their families. They were standing for something, etc., right? And then even then, when the women were staying home or, taking care of whatever they were taking care of, what were they obtaining? They were obtaining the well-being of their family. They were obtaining the future of their nation or their country. This is what this shit was about. It wasn't about obtaining these things for the sake of having them. It was about obtaining them for the sake of community. Chat, are y'all following me so far? Because this is just off the top of my head. Like, I did not prepare this conversation. I did not prepare this thought, training, experiment. I'm just thinking out loud, right? Are y'all following me so far? Right? For a purpose that could be felt but not touched. I like how you worded that, but just follow me here. If I'm, as a man, right, it's a difference. Now, let's talk about this obtaining and obtaining it for a community and a purpose and of just obtaining it just to have it, right? Just put yourself in these shoes. You're a man. You go to work every day, all day, 5 days a week, 40-hour work week. You get the paycheck, right? If you just go and obtain it just to have that physical money and to pay your bills and all these things, people will quickly find out that this is not enough. However, why do they know it's not enough? Because they burn out. They get, depressed. They're unfulfilled. It drains them. But if you give that man kids, a wife that he loves, or a mom struggling to eat, not only will he put in 80 hours, but even the days that he's burnt out, even the days that he's super tired, he'll still get up and go. Because it has that purpose or that fulfillment behind it that is community oriented. Now we can talk this talk and say, something you can say as a man, I'm going for my higher self, or things like that. I want to be my better self, right? But then even then, it's still not even about getting the physical money. It's about not being lazy. It's about being ambitious. It's about standing for what you believe in. So even then, it's still not the physical things that drive you. It's still like that fulfilling belief, right? I had to use that example because when we transition from, if I keep talking about obtaining the values such as honor, integrity, such as how your children surpass you and evolve beyond you. If I get into talking about these things, right, and I'm saying the meaning and value in them, and all you can think of is a diamond chain, a diamond watch, a fast car, a lot of money in the bank account, being famous and having beautiful women, you're completely. I'm like going to be speaking Chinese to you, and you only know English. So now that we separated the difference between working for like to have something and working for a meaning or to, to be something, and we realize that as people or as humans, we respond to them differently. One can burn you out and one can keep you going and give you what we call willpower. Right? Now, I'm going to stay on topic because what I was really getting at was the condition of relationships. Now, as this man is going out to work and he's doing things, as he thinks about his family, even if it's going to war, even if it's whatever it is, he's thinking about his family. He's thinking about protecting them. He's thinking about fighting for their freedom. He's thinking about all these things that have value to him. And you go back to the home. How does this trickle down? The woman is thinking about her man. He's out there. He's fighting. He's standing for this. Even purpose in her or belief in her gives her this. She feels blessed to have her duty, or she feels blessed to play her role. Even for the man, even if it's risking his life or deteriorating his physical health or his mental health, he still feels blessed. He feels blessed to have this burden because of the purpose behind it. His family, his honor, his whatever, right? Nowadays, it's so separated and it's like against each other. It's like, what do you bring to the table? Not even that. What is the point of having a table, and why are you even coming to the table? What do you bring? Fuck the fact that we are at this table. It ultimately will be our table. Even if I brought the table to be even have shit put on. But guess what? What's the most important thing when we say, what do you bring to the table? Is realizing that the table isn't everything. So who gives a fuck if I bring the table and you bring the forks, the spoon, and the food, or I got the house that the table is in? It is all pointless if we don't have what else goes into it, right? And I'm just physically saying the fork, the spoon, the food, but I'm hoping you're getting the metaphor, the complementary things that make a home. Because it's a difference between a house and a home. Right? Are y'all still following me, chat, or am I getting all over the place? Y'all allowed to tell me like, bro, you lost me. And then I can backtrack before we move forward. Otherwise, I'm gonna just keep flowing. I had to use that table example because that's a perfect example of the dynamics of relationships nowadays. We have become so focused on debating what is being brought to the table rather than remembering that the table in and of itself is just as important as what goes on the table and what makes a house a home. It has become so focused that I bring this to the table, I'm the fucking thing. What are you? When in reality, the whole point of that was that you are a part of me just as much as I'm a part of you, and what we're building towards or what we're going towards or what comes after us. That's what it was all about. What comes after us? Our children, our legacy, our manners, our reputation, right? Fresh Nick 5, I appreciate the gift this up. Right? All of these things live after you. Your reputation, your children, your legacy, etc. Right? Now, like I said, the main point is that we already talked about earlier in the conversation that when people just live for these things, they're unhappy. And there are a lot of different things contributing to this. Don't get me wrong. I'm not trying to ignore other factors. So somebody like names that, oh, well, this happened in the global war. Like, I'm not trying to name other factors. I'm just focusing on community and relationships as a whole, even if it's relationships with your family, friends, etc. Right? And now I'm going to have a different discussion of what has these things been replaced by. Now, if for hundreds of or for thousands of years, right, chat, we had to go outside and see people face to face and interact with them, and you were to get a woman or have a family or a relationship or whatever, These things were done face to face. These things were done mano y mano, one on one. Or maybe you might have met a lady through an environment at a party or whatever the case may be, or on a walk or whatever, right? It was still face to face. It was still human interaction, right? It was still social. It was still, outside, right? And you look at if these things were going on for thousands and thousands of years, we have developed skills in doing these things that we don't have with social media. Are y'all still following me, chat? Because I'm about to make another point here. Like if for thousands of years, because like I said earlier, or not even today, but I said this before, it's two things we mainly need to survive. We need to eat and we need to reproduce, which is why we get horny and why we get hungry. Right? Now, we never needed dopamine and whatever. This was an incentive for doing the things we need to survive. We eat something delicious, it feels good. We have sex, it feels good. That's because it was meant to make the things that we need to do fun, or at least enjoying, right? Because imagine you didn't enjoy eating or enjoy having sex. You wouldn't have sex, you wouldn't reproduce, we wouldn't live on, we wouldn't eat, etc., right? Are you following me? They're enjoyable, we do it more, whatever. Now it's like these things have been replaced. Replaced with what, chat? Just think about it. Replaced with what? I want y'all to be active in this and just think about what have they been replaced by, right? I know y'all have a million ideas that come to mind, but I like to see how y'all think of where your head is at, right? Media, social media, entertainment, money, TikTok, porn, junk food, cars, YouTube, status, Twitter, money, fame, materialistic things. Right, exactly, right? Now, this is the thing. There was always greed. There was always distractions. There was always things you could waste your time on since the beginning of time, right? What makes it so different now is how attainable this is and accessible this is for us to get instant pleasure. But listen, this is the thing. For us to also get instant pleasure and to also see what we don't have. Isn't that, this is dangerous. Why is this dangerous? Let's really think about this. You can see more naked women in an hour than your grandfather might have seen in his entire life. Think about that. It warps reality. Thank you. You can see more naked women in 1 hour than your grandfather may have seen in his entire life. Even in a minute. Depends on how fast you're scrolling. You might be watching a big booty count. I don't know. It might be a lot of women you scroll. Who knows? Just think about this, though. I'm just telling y'all to think about this. And at the same time, you can see more status, all these materialistic things, than you have seen, and then you can see in an hour than your grandfather might have seen in his entire life. Why? Because he may have been limited to his community, where he's probably living around people who, hey, we all typically make around the same amount of money, so we're not shitting on each other on a huge level. And even if we are, you spend so much time outside or in the real world, I'm this big, powerful person, but I still come from this neighborhood which I starved in. I never was able to extremely detach myself from the struggle of another human being because I've never detached from it. I'm living my life every day. I'm not on social media imagining who I could be, pretending I'm somebody I'm not, portraying I'm somebody I'm not, looking at all these different people's lives. I'm not just oversaturated with all this shit, right? Chat, are y'all following me? if you're following me so far, you begin to think like, how are people not insane? How are we not insane? We have been exposed to and seen and changed so many things in the last 20 years than have been changed in the last 2,000. What a time to be alive, as some people would say. What a time to be alive. Just think of how are people not insane? Right? We are, though. Thank you. Thank you. And why would I argue that we are? Because all of the values we have had and have evolved to have in the last thousands of years, we are now no longer caring about. And as much as we pretend we don't, it is in us to actually care, right? Family, affection, nutrition, sunlight, human interaction, you name it. Purpose. All of the things that we are being replaced to have, as we just broke down, chat. Even if we get replaced with them, we're being so saturated with them. It's like this. It's been so overused. Like we know about dopamine. We could just be specific. When your dopamine just gets so overused like a drug, right? For example, if a drug can make me so high that I experience so much dopamine, what happens, chat? Do y'all know anything about drug addictions and what they do to your dopamine receptors? Just think about that. What happens? And if you don't know, then I'm gonna just say the answer anyway. But I like y'all to be active and involved. You need more to feel the same amount of feeling. Also, you're also literally addicted to it. But your tolerance, thank you. That's the great word that we should stick with. You get resistance. Another great word. You have a higher resistance to the same amount of dopamine, which will make you feel good. You have a higher tolerance now. So you may say, oh, I do this drug, I take this substance, or I hit this lottery or whatever, and you feel this level of dopamine, and it makes you feel good, and you become more desensitized because you're now being more resistant. And it's like, you were never meant to feel that to begin with. So now you're dealing with a reality or experiences which are beyond which was meant for you. You're so far from a natural experience. Again, this you could just add this to another point of why we are insane, or why it's so easy to be insane nowadays. Che, are y'all following me, or does this just all seem random? Because my mind, I can flip a chapter and connect it to the first thing I said, and I can see it all, how it all connects. But if you don't, just let me know, and I can help, and I could hit certain points in the conversation, right? Now, and keep in mind how I mentioned food, right? We're talking about dopamine and sex and all these things and all this and addictions and social media. But keep in mind, we talked about food. We've been talking about dopamine and how these things incentivize us for enjoying things that we need to survive. Let's just keep going. I already know about this. Thank you. This is very surface level so far. This is just the introduction. We ain't even get to the first body paragraph. This is just the introduction. I'm just glossing over what is. I'm just following the thought experiment, right? Now, right? The next thing I will push, or the next thing I would discuss or talk about in this is that I want to go back to the family part. And I'm going to go back to the post I said I saw earlier and how things have changed. Right? Now, on my screen, it just told me that the ads are running. So, are the ads running? Are the ads running? Y'all gotta let me know, and I can pause the stream. All right, ads. I knew it. All right, luckily I. Niggas said, what ads y'all watching? Niggas exchanging ad information. I've been smoking on that gas. You can smell the aroma in the booth. I'm in that. All right, for the subs, man. How y'all feel about today's conversation, chat? How y'all feel about it? Cause we going in. Even the music not good for you. Juicy Fully OC, catch that thought. We could talk about. Listen. Even the music not good for you. What are you listening to? And why? Do you even know why? Right? Because that's another conversation. That's another conversation. Everything is everything. I listen to Philly music. Right, if we talk about Philly music, right? Good convo. Appreciate that, brother. We really going deep, man. We really going deep. And especially, you know why I love being from Philly, especially to have this conversation, is because we can also talk about how a lot of Philly niggas gonna understand this. What is our music like, and what is our city like? And they're damn near the same. But there's a lot more to our city, right? But what is our music like, and what is our city like? And you could be from New York and probably agree with this. You could be from Chicago and probably agree with this. You could be from Florida and probably agree with this. You could be, it don't matter, right? But y'all know Philly is one of them cities. What are we going to talk about, right? But Chad, guess what? Right, niggas dissing the dead. Yo, let me tell you. Yo, listen, listen, Chad, if we get started, we going to have a whole nother conversation. So it's best that I go back to the relationships, the family, and the purpose. Because guess what? Even the music will play a part. Even that can be a topic we touch. But we still got to develop what we talking about right now. Chat. So can we go back? Can we go back, chat? Because y'all know this is a whole different conversation. We got to go back. We got to go back. Right? You were about to talk about the social media post you saw. All right, bam. I told y'all to hold me like a bookmark and just remind me, right? Now catch this. It said, this was the post, right? It said, feminism is the idea that women are free when they serve their employers, but slaves when they serve their husband and children. Now stop. Stop. Don't say nothing. Don't think anything yet. Stop. I gotta pause y'all. Because I know a lot of y'all, this is what your mind is gonna do. You're gonna see the word feminism and you're gonna jump at it. You can't do that. You are just as equally a bot as the other person who hears misogynist and you jump on it. Don't jump on the word. Don't jump on the word yet. Let's look at the message, right? The idea that women are free when they serve their employers, but slaves when they serve their husband and children. That's not my idea of feminism, but catch this. Exactly. Right? We can even talk about how that is what feminism kind of turned into, and what, social media has made it, and how women have weaponized it, and I'm a boss bitch and I'm an independent woman, and how that has been bad for relationships and the families, and how being a stay-at-home mom was shit. We could ramble on about a million ideas, right? Just catch this part though. That ties into what I was saying earlier about, as human beings, people, when we always want to obtain something. I'm gonna repeat this again because I said this so early on. This might have been like 30 minutes ago now, so a lot of y'all might just got here. I'm gonna repeat this again. We always want to obtain something. Even the drug addict, when they obtain that high, maybe they're looking for mental freedom. We always want to obtain something. I'm grinding in the gym. It's not just that I'm getting stronger muscles. It's that I'm obtaining my goal, whatever I feel like my goal is, whatever my end ambition is. And I said this, I was bold to say this, even somebody who is suicidal, even through killing themselves, they're trying to obtain something. So even a person who feels as though they have no reason to live, still even at the end, is trying to obtain something. Even when they say there's no reason, they're still trying to obtain something. Freedom, if you want to wrap it to that simple of an answer. Are y'all following me, chat? So then the point I was getting at, right, is that when we obtain things for the sake of just having them, we're miserable, right? But when there's a purpose or when there's value behind it, when there's sustenance behind it, whether it be, and my argument is that community and family and relationships and things that live beyond us is really the cream of the crop, right? That's where this is going, right? But now that I resaid that, right, y'all follow me, And then we read this one more time. The idea that women are free when they serve their employers, but slaves when they serve their husband and children. If we don't want to go too far back in time, we don't want to go back to hunter-gatherer and shit like that, but we just go back and we look at why and how did it become man working for his woman and his family, woman being at home or maybe doing some things on the side to make money, but really, working with her children and being affectionate and emotional, and the man being logical and rational and handling business, being the head of the household. Before we made an argument, Henny 3500, I appreciate the 6 months. Right? Now, Chad, I'm about to steer left, so I'm about to really steer left, so y'all gotta follow me here. Before we made it an argument about, a man is supposed to lead and a woman is supposed to do this, before we made it an argument of gender roles and combative conversation, right? Before we made it that argument, it wasn't an argument. Why? Because the purpose of the roles were being fulfilled. It was safer for a man to go out in the world and work. Why? Because women and children get taken advantage of by other men. And even women in some cases. You got Jeffrey Epstein, Ghislaine Maxwell, sociopaths and freaks like them. But let's think about why these roles were here to begin with, right? Before we got into the politics of everything, the purpose behind these roles were not limiting. They were not combative. They were actually collaborative. They worked well with the family. They worked well with the structure. It wasn't my man is the leader and the head of the household, and I as a woman that says I'm not good enough because no, you can't. This metaphor makes perfect sense, chat. You can't judge a fish by its ability to climb a tree. Why? Because fishes are meant to swim. They're not meant to climb trees. So that's what happened when people when modern times started doing these things, and they started to say, well, you're a woman, and to say that you're not meant to lead or you can't do what a man can do, that takes away from your power. No, it does not. Because you were meant to swim. Maybe I was meant to climb the tree and the eagle was meant to fly. If a monkey were to look at an eagle and say, damn, I can't fly, I'm useless, or a fish were to look at the monkey and then say, damn, I'm useless, it could never be a fish. And the monkey would never truly be a monkey. Now I'm using fucking animals and examples, but are y'all following me here? Are y'all following me here? Are y'all following me? Because I don't want to lose y'all. I'm just really rambling. I'm just really running my thought out loud. I'm just really, this is no script. I have no page, no notes, no books. I'm just thinking out loud. So y'all got to follow my flow, right? Okay. So now we go back. We say, we're always trying to obtain something, right? The family is there. What does the feminist movement tell you about the structure of how families were and society was? What does the shift towards this movement tell you, chat? Now help me think here. Let's just think out loud. I'm telling y'all my thoughts, and y'all may help me come up with better ideas. My thoughts is that the structure of that in the traditional ways had flaws. And it had flaws that could have been improved and evolved with, and we could have learned from and made a better situation for our future. That's what the past to the future is supposed to be. The future is always supposed to be better than the past. I mean, from a sense of common sense, like, you don't make the same mistake twice. You don't, whatever, right? Right, whether we get specific and say husbands were hurting their wives, and whether we get specific, we just say it had flaws because there were more flaws than one. Right? What would I say the flaws were? I'm gonna tell you why the specifics don't matter, because we wanna think big picture here. We don't want to see the details yet, and I'm not avoiding the details because they were ugly. But I'm thinking big picture here is because if we get caught in the details, we'll lose the bigger point. It had flaws. And that this movement towards the shift of where we're leaning towards now, it should have been, or what it should be, is that it takes those flaws, looks at what they were, and say, let's make them better in order for our future to be better. But what it seems to me is happening is it's taking those flaws and it completely missed the purpose. It completely missed the strengths of us as people. It completely lost sight of what's important. I could go on and on and on, right? Now, where am I moving next with this conversation? Let's talk about how bad it is. So not only has the household been separated, and it's been separated, and it's been separated in a way that says, if a fish sees a monkey climb a tree and a monkey sees an eagle fly, the fish is jealous of the monkey and thinks it should be able to climb. The monkey is jealous of the eagle and thinks it should be able to fly. Instead of being what it was naturally meant to be, or how it was meant to be, and the strengths that it has to do. A monkey can't swim as fast as a fish. A eagle can't climb a tree as fast as a monkey. But it can never see its natural given, born strengths if it is looking at the eagle or the fish is looking at the monkey. I'm tying this back into the flaws in the evolving society, because what I'm saying is instead of looking at the flaws and evolving and saying, how can we be better? What it did was say, I want to be an eagle. I deserve to be an eagle. I want to be a fish. I deserve to be a fish. No. But who, then this is where people will push back on me and they'll say, who or what or why gets to say no? Who, what, where, when, who can say no? You can't be a monkey or a fish or an eagle. Who has that power? I don't have that power. What do I think has that power? Nature. Nature. Thank you. Somebody said it before I could even say it out loud. Nature. If I can question my own existence and say, do you believe in God? Or do you believe in the calculation of the universe and the Big Bang? Or you don't believe in God or the Big Bang? What do you believe in? Right? If we dip far off left, right? We don't know what we don't know. But let's just think practical. We know our nature. We know nature. We can see it. Right? CJ to Leo, I appreciate the 10 months.
It's just tune on nature like MH.
We know our nature. We can see it. Right? So I'm arguing we can trust it. And that's what I'm going to base the foundation of everything else I'm about to talk about on now. Because if I'm going to say feminine and masculine qualities and characteristics enable you to climb faster than the fish can climb, y'all got to follow me here, because I'm going to like tie two different metaphors together. So we're about to take a little bit of a jump. So we got to connect the dots. It can be simple, but some people might not be following. If I'm going to say masculine is monkey and feminine is fish, and the more feminine you are, the faster you can swim, you can breathe underwater. Being feminine gives you those qualities and traits that a fish has that a monkey doesn't. Being masculine, you can climb this tree, and but you can't swim as fast as a fish, but you can climb faster. You have the strength to pull a tree up. You can breathe air. The fish can't breathe air at all. Can we connect like masculine and feminine? You're geared towards different skills that one or the other doesn't have or was not meant to have, but can benefit each other, right? Because it's nature, it's natural. This is my argument here. Okay, follow me. Right? So now, and why do I say masculine and feminine? Well, instead of man and woman. Well, if we go back and just say, okay, there's two sexes and there's two genders, we know in modern times this is a very hyper-reactive conversation. So I know that in order to get people to follow, we drop all the politics. And I say, let's just focus on masculine and feminine here. A man can have very feminine qualities and a woman can have very masculine qualities. So let's just look at the masculine and feminine qualities. And let's just go with that. If you're a man, the reason you are a man to begin with was because that everyone, y'all don't know this, but in biology, everyone is born female until you get your Y chromosome. That's what makes you a male. You get your Y chromosome, and then that's when you get testosterone, right? And then the testosterone does things to your body. That's why we all have nipples. Our nipples don't produce milk, but we were born with nipples. I mean, not born with nipples, but when we were forming. This is some biological shit, right? Where am I going at here? The moment I got more testosterone than estrogen, which is like the feminine hormone, testosterone and estrogen, right? Is the moment that my mind or the reason I make decisions changed. Testosterone, a high amount of testosterone biochemically makes you think differently. A high amount of estrogen biochemically makes you think differently. Are y'all following me so far, chat? Because I do come from a cell and molecular biology background in college, so I don't want to lose y'all being too scientific, right? But we know testosterone and estrogen, right? Okay. And there are certain qualities that come from these hormones. There are many different hormones, right? Dopamine, right? And all these different hormones have biological things. And these are natural. This is from nature, right? We're not even being political right now. And the reason I'm not being political because I don't want reactions. I want realizations. I want reflections. Now we're going. Now, are y'all still following from when we use the monkey, the fish, the eagle example, right? Testosterone naturally gives you these qualities, this viewpoint, these strengths, right? And estrogen naturally gives you these qualities, these viewpoints, and these strengths. If as a man, I get this, and as a woman, you get this, I don't have what you have, and you don't have what I have. But what happens when they come together? We're complete, right? And I'm not saying complete in the sense that I am not a man without a woman, and a woman is not a woman without a man, but complete naturally, because when we come together, we create more life. Fuck the politics. What was this all about? More life and continuing our species. I'm just keeping it very simple and practical right now because we can evolve a lot of different factors and it'll become a whole bunch of different conversations. But two sides of the same coin, right? The yin and the yang. The light and the dark, right, become complete, right? Now, this completeness, as humans, we add meaning to things, right? An animal may just have its instincts and hunt. Us, we question, why do we hunt? We ask questions. That's what makes us humans, right? We are very conceptual, right? So for us, as we've created all these things we believe in, and all these, whether it be religions, whether it be different thoughts, etc. However, when we just follow nature, right? At the bare minimum, we need to eat and we need to reproduce. So we just get hungry and we get horny. Now, we have become so focused on our conceptual thinking that we have forgot our nature. Now, if you ask me, why to begin with as a species did we get our conceptual thinking if we only needed our nature? Because the funny part is, if we were like other animals and we stuck to our nature, right? Would we have as much depression as we have? Would we have the addictions that we have? Would we be as deceitful and manipulative and all the different things we can be because we are able to apply our intelligence? I don't know. Maybe we would. But guess what? Even if we would, but guess what? Oh my God, chat. Now I kick back, right? Because we have those things, and this is how we compete with our other members of our species, much like other animals do. If a lion wants to beat the other lion, it'll be stronger, faster. If a lion wants to catch its prey, it'll be stronger and faster and kill the prey and then eat. This is how they evolved to compete and survive. But with us as humans, we don't claw each other's eyes out. We don't bite necks and, unless you're a fucking vampire, some crazy shit. But we don't bite necks and do shit like this. What do? I have a better resume than you when I apply for this job. I have more followers than you on social media, and that'll help me get my woman. Or if I want to get my woman using my followers. This is how we compete in our species. So then you go back and say it is natural to us, our conceptual thinking. And I was going to say we don't need it, but in reality, the fact that we have it is the reason that we need it. Because then we would get to a point where nothing means nothing to us. And as humans, since we have conceptual thinking, people call it an existential crisis when they have no purpose, no meaning. But if you didn't again, I don't want to get into that conversation because now I'll just go into a whole train of thought. Let's keep it back to what we were talking about. Relationships and a man and a woman and a family and purpose, right? Get into it? No, I'll just drift completely right. I'll steer right if I go that way. Let's go back. Because the point I was going to get at is that we have come so far from our nature. And then look at what we have. We have social media. We have a lot of money. We have a lot of status. We have a lot of all of these things which we did not have access to. And like I said, we've changed more in the last 20 years than the last 2,000. Like I said, I can see more fat asses and naked women in an hour than my grandfather has seen in his lifetime. Because of my phone. And like I said, we were talking about earlier, how can this not make us insane or lead to insanity? Because this all triggers dopamine, this all triggers mentalities, etc. What's good, Imani? What's good? Tell y'all gonna see a lot of change on the stream, and y'all will have her to thank for that. But let's get back into our deep conversation. If as a man, we go back to like I was saying earlier with the eagle, the monkey, and the fish example. The fish looks at the monkey and says, "Why can't I climb the tree?" And I have to keep reusing these metaphors, chat, to go back to my points. The fish looks at the monkey and says, "Why can't I climb trees how you can?" The monkey looks at the eagle and says, "Why can't I fly how you can?" It can never look at what it naturally is and go to the strengths that it was given to begin with. So then the fish sees how strong the monkey is to climb and how the monkey can breathe air. But the monkey doesn't see it because it's looking at the eagle. And the fish doesn't even see how it can breathe underwater, how it can swim faster, how it has these natural strengths which it was given to begin with, because it's so focused on thinking it has no worth or no value because it cannot climb a tree. You were never meant to. You are a fish. And climbing a tree is not what defines you or was not natural to you or what you were meant to do. And I'm comparing this to the masculine and feminine because we went to testosterone and estrogen. Okay, chat. Now that we've rounded it all together, are y'all ready for the next point I'm getting at? Now that we've rounded it all together, right? And keep in mind what I said earlier about obtaining things, right? We are always trying to obtain things in our species. Even like I said, I'm going to repeat this point one more time before I hit my next point about how they flipped it, and then men and women are competing. And as a man, I want to be more like a woman, and women to be more like a man. Let's get to what the problem is in this, right? And I'm going to use the obtain part. We are always trying to obtain something. Even someone who is suicidal and wants to kill themselves, even a person who says, I have no reason I think I want to live, even in trying to kill themselves, they are still trying to obtain something. Freedom, peace, etc. So even when we are pushed to the brink of nothingness, we still have tried to obtain something. And without even realizing it. Right? They want to obtain death. It's not just as simple as dying. Because before somebody commits suicide, when they're suicidal, they numb themselves. There's different forms of suicide than killing yourself. There's allowing your life to fall apart. There's allowing a substance to destroy you from the inside out. There's allowing, come on, chat. Like, you can die before you die. Right? Right? Or do I sound crazy, chat? Let me know. You can die before you die. Okay. So it's not even just the physical, literal death. You can die before you die. And the point I'm getting at with that is we're always trying to obtain something. We take the skills and qualities that come with testosterone and estrogen and naturally, right in nature, right? How does this all connect with how society looks now? And then there's the fight for what do you bring to the table, but not the fact that this table makes a house a home, and that you have these naturally geared towards strengths that I don't compete for because I'm not naturally meant to do that, and you don't compete for because you're not naturally meant to do that, but that we come together and are complete and can create more life. Kash the Kaze Kaga, I appreciate the gift this up. So chat, we're all following this situation, right? And I'm going to touch the last point earlier on obtaining things. I'm going to re-hit this point earlier before I go into what's wrong about competing, right? I'm going to that point one more time. And I said that you take a person, not just a man, you take a person, right? But I said a man earlier. You take a man and you give him five-day work days in a 40-hour work week. And if he's just working to pay his bills, he's coming home unfulfilled. If he's just working to obtain the thing itself, he's left unfulfilled, and he can lead to burnout and etc. You take a man or a person who is obtaining things or working to obtain their values, you can double the hours in their work week and they'll still work harder. If that man is going out and being miserable, right, for the purpose of his family to eat at night, or so that his family can be safe, or so that his family can live on, etc., he will show up, double the hours, and still go get it. The same as when the man is not there and the woman has to buckle up and take care of the kids. Or let's say the dynamics can be reversed, whatever the case may be. The point I'm getting is that when the purpose is there, when the value is there, you don't question it. You do it because it means something, and because of what you're obtaining, and you know you're obtaining, and it fulfills you. It doesn't become, well, why am I not at work? Why is the man the head of the household? Why is he these things? Now we can get into the details of saying like, okay, it's safer for, a man to be going out and coming home from work and etc. versus his woman and his children, etc. I think this is pretty much common sense in certain examples. We just know these things, right? Because let's be real. Let's be real. From a nature, not even I'm not speaking morally, right? I'm not speaking what should be, could be, or would be. You have to follow me here. Because a lot of the things that allow me to think this freely is that I can drop all my judgment. I can drop all moral conscience. I can just see things as they are. At the end of the day, if you are not my child or my woman, right? Or my family. And then you even had, listen, from my standpoint, see, this is why I can't judge it from my standpoint. Because you even have people who will backstab their own family to get up, right? Right? Hold on, let me make sure this turns back on, chat. So y'all can have the lights on. Hold on. God damn, my lights are plugged into my other PC. So I don't know what I jump be turning it off sometime. Okay. Right? Let me hurry up and get right back into it. At the end of the day, if you ain't come from my blood, or you are not like what I consider mine, or to be under me or with me, I have no duty or obligation to you. Now, outside of that, people can have things like morals. People can have things like integrity. And say, man, do unto others as you would not have done unto you. Yada, yada, yada. right? We can have these things which help give us some kind of structure to prevent the bullshit. But as we know, as things are, everybody just doesn't subscribe to these ideas. Everybody just doesn't follow these thoughts. If they did, we wouldn't really have many issues, right? But they don't. In an animalistic sense, right? Or a simple just human nature sense. Even lions do this. When a new male lion comes in, they kill the cubs. Like, it's as nature. Listen, it just is what it is. The point being is that we even look at something simple like men working on stuff inside of the house and the women and children there by themselves. It's like we would like to assume this guy's just going to come in and do his job, etc., blah, blah, blah. But from a straight what is standpoint, they can see an opportunity of weakness. We all know this. It's like even me saying this out loud, nobody said, it's like y'all said, well, we know. We all know this. But what happens is, now I'm going to hit the point of why it's bad to compete. What happens when we say, I'm a fish, let me climb that tree. Or I'm a monkey, let me fly. And we look at the skills, characteristics, and qualities that come from a higher amount of testosterone or a higher amount of estrogen, and we say use these skills and these talents in these ways that they were not meant to be used. You will now leave yourself overexposed. And how do you become exposed? What do I mean by exposed? What am I implying by using the word exposed? The fish jumps out to climb that tree. It's not breathing water. Now it has to hold its breath just to even be out. Don't got arms and the strength, the shit that the monkey had. So even to climb this tree, it's already fighting to do it. It's not natural for it. It's a fight. It burns it out much faster than the monkey could just climb the tree. The monkey jumps in the water, tries to swim. It's holding its breath to swim. It will die out, burn, and then try to flirt when the fish could just be in the water swimming and sleep and then still be swimming. The monkey tried to jump off the tree and flap its arms like the eagle. When the eagle can just sit the arms out and soar, it can break a fucking leg trying to take that jump, no matter how high it is. Right? Now, the point I'm getting at here is that when we modernize these arguments and we say, as a woman or as a man, if you're not, or let's be specific. As a woman, if you're not, why can't you be the head of the household? Why can't you lead? Why can't you do these certain things? And why must you do these things, right? It's one argument to say that, they go, or it is said that, the patriarchy structured it to be this way and it was set up to be this way. And men have made the rules and men have done this and men have done that and blah, blah, blah. And the popular belief would have you think that it was in spite of women or to spite women. But if you think about it, chat, who were these rules for? Outside of the top echelon men hoarding all resources? When I, as a man, say, don't go to that club at this time and get drunk, be careful, or come home and be with your family, who is that for? My woman, my family. The argument now is that it's controlling. It's a fight. The entire frame of reference has been switched out in today's arguments in society. And it goes back to, like I said, when I showed y'all that post, which sparked this. And this is not about feminism. This is not about misogyny. This is about evolving as a society in a way which is better for the whole. Right? We don't want to specialize it or make it specific in certain words, but I'm using these specific arguments because it contributes to the big picture. Right? Now we read this post one more time. The idea that women are free when they serve their employers, but slaves when they serve their children and husband. Right? Now, I go back and I say, we talked about obtaining things earlier. Right? We're always working to obtain something. if I look at today and I say, this is how women are, this is how men are, it's bitches ain't shit, it's niggas ain't shit, it's stack your cheese, get your money, take care of this, you take care of that. And we're seeing that people have more depression than ever, they're unfulfilled than ever, so the shit is not working, right? Because we lost the values, we lost the meaning behind it. I was looking at it and I say, what are we obtaining? Who wins? You know, like the Jay-Z song, you know, nobody wins when the family fuse, right? And to stamp the entire conversation that we just had, it's like, if people don't realize we're getting nowhere fast, what will we have left? Now, this is all freestyle work here. We talked about how social media in the last 20 years, we've seen more than we can see in the last 2,000 years in a shorter amount of time. Let's compare two examples. Let's take two examples. You have one person who him and his family are in their community, they're in their city, they're on their farm, they're living their lives, right? And you have one family in modern times who all have social media, all have these phones, etc. Family A is the farm family. Family B is the modern family. Family A, the husband was cheated on once, right? Or caught his wife cheating. And he went into the community and said, yo, my wife cheated on me. In this community, there are other married men who have never been cheated on. Or you have another married man who was cheated on. He's older than you, was cheated on, and got remarried. You seek guidance in this community. And you cannot pick and choose the guidance. Like an algorithm chooses bias, right? Now, let's say he seeks guidance from his friend group and they're like them. My point being is that a community of people, of human beings, is much less predictable than me scrolling on social media and being fed what I want to see. This guy gets cheated on, he seeks guidance. He seeks guidance, and he in his community he sees a man who's been cheated on and now is in a happy marriage. He now can question himself and say, well, I'm not going to give up on marriage or finding a woman because I'm looking at a man who has a family, has been cheated on just like me. He thinks more. He thinks and he gives love another chance. Also, we can add another detail here. Him and his family, all they know is that if there's food on the table, his kids are learning and growing, and him and his wife are, talking and communicating. That's all they know. They never consider what they don't have, because to them, what they have is what they have what they need. Family A. Family B. Guy gets cheated on. We take the same details, right? Guy gets cheated on. He opens this legendary device right here, right? Right? Algorithm smacks him. And this can go many ways. This can go the sadness he felt when he got cheated on. He sees sad music. He sees sad posts. This only fuels the fire of that sadness. It just pumps it in. And the algorithm only knows to give you what you want to see. Then you add in the dopamine addictions. You add all these different factors. He goes down that rabbit hole. He drowns that way. We change the other situation. Still in family B. He gets cheated on. He sees other men who got cheated on. Even though they don't know each other from a can of paint. They don't know that they don't know. They just know that they all give each other bias and they just want to agree with each other. And the algorithm only feeds you what you want to see. And it's not natural for us as humans to seek challenges. We don't like to be challenged. We don't like confrontation. We don't like to question our own views and beliefs. Because if we identify with them, which most of us do, they feel like an attack on who we are. If if your main identity and focal point is being a basketball player, if I take basketball out of your life, you'll have a question of reality. Like, what am I without basketball? If money and clothes is all you have, you do lose that. And you don't know what you are because you don't know who you are. You've only identified with what that is, right? I had to quickly say that because I'm going to go back to family B and say he's in these community. He's identifying with being cheated on and never feeling that pain again. And he's met a bunch of people who give him that community, which is like a Band-Aid on a broken arm. They make each other feel good instead of leading to actual fulfillment, which was having a family and living life and continuing a legacy. Right? Remember family A. He went to his community. Men he see, men he's around. Men who would, if he needs salt and pepper or milk, as the common thing goes, he can go knock on their door. Hey, you got some milk? Yes, if your family needs it, I'll take care of you. This is community type of shit, right? You even have community cookouts and community organizations and community organized things. You even have community responsibility. My neighbors might have snitched on me and told my parents. This is community-like things. Family B. All social media, all phones, or modern things, he's only seeing what he wants to see. Since he's getting that bias after he got cheated on, he is so deep in his beliefs because of the bias kept getting reinforced and the bias kept getting fueled by the fire. That's all he knows. And he gets deeper down that rabbit hole and then he drowns. Now we take the other detail I said about family A. Family A, all they know is what they need. The guy says, I'm working. My family's taking care of each other. My kids are growing and they're healthy. There's food on the table. My job pays my bills, or whatever I do takes care of what my family needs. I have all I need. What else do I need? Family B, the mom and the dad are seeing social media. He's seeing all these beautiful, badass bitches. He's looking at his woman like, oh, I wish I had this. Woman in this situation, she's seeing men buy their woman Rolls Royces, Mercedes Benz, big bouquets of flowers. The single rose that her man cut off of a fucking tree to get, or wherever roses go, rose bush, that he went out and cut off to get by himself. He went and collected flowers with his own bare hands. Seems less meaningful. When in reality, his was actually even though it was a smaller gift, his was actually thoughtful because the other guy just swiped his card and it was already right there. But she's not seeing purpose and value. She's seeing the thing which was obtained. Are y'all seeing how this connects back to what we said earlier about obtaining things in and of itself versus the meaning and value behind it? We also go into the car, the bad bitch, instead of him seeing he has a good woman or a good family. We're looking at the things being obtained themselves, not the meaning and value behind them. Family B is of the mentality or the belief that they're of the belief that, I'm trying to figure out a way to word this. They are of the belief that what they want is what they need, instead of what they need is what they want. Did that make sense, chat? Did that make sense, chat? Y'all allowed to tell me that don't make sense and I can explain that. Because that makes perfect sense to me. Say it doesn't make sense. Tell me. Family B thinks what they want is what they need instead of what they need being what they want. And I'll elaborate. He's on his phone, on social media. He's seeing bad bitches, thick bitches, big titty bitches. He's seeing clout, clothes, money, status. He's seeing all these things. And like any natural person, he's going to say, I want these things. Right? Remember family A. Limited to his community. He's not ever being in a situation where he's saying, now I'm thinking like older than, somebody drives by in a Rolls Royce or his fancy ass car. I'm in family's A situation. What I want you to think is that they have their community and then they have their family. So it's not common for them to see something every day, like a new car or a bigger house or fancier clothes. So they're not jealous because they're only seeing their family. And in their mind, what they want is whatever their family needs. Right? Family B, social media, all these things that they can see, right? Now they think what they want is what they need. Because they're not even focused on their family. They're not even focused on what's in front of them. They're in their phones. They're in their heads. They're so far outside of themselves. Right? And what I was going to hit next was the dynamic of, well, the husband is seeing this and he's comparing them to his woman. The woman is seeing this and she's comparing them to her guy and what he does for her. The children, or maybe even the children looking at their phones. Why do we have this? Why do we have this? Shouldn't we have this? Look how happy they are. Maybe I would be happier if I had that. That's what's so easy to happen today's times because of this device. Where I'm arguing in family A that those feelings of missing out or those feelings of not having what you need would have never been there because they were just community oriented and thinking about their family, the fulfillment, the purpose, right? And I had to use family A and family B to break it down because I wanted y'all to really understand what I was getting at when I was talking about we're always obtaining something, but what is the end goal? What is the means? What is the purpose? And that we work, and then that in modern times, it makes us respond differently. In older times, what we are naturally, getting at, we respond differently and we act differently in these environments. But now we don't even have environments. We have our phone. It was much more likely for somebody to watch, not even fuck a phone, TV and screens. It is so easy for somebody to see something on television and for it to make them think because everything is programming. Everything is programming. What you listen to, what you watch, what you hear, what you talk about, what you think about, what you read, everything. So if I'm constantly seeing on social media, I watch this TV show and the man cheated on his wife and my wife's been cheated on, she's looking at me and saying, all men cheat. Now she should be smarter and more firm to not allow a television show or social media post to define or influence how she looks at her life. But it's natural. We are influenced by things in our environments and factors in our environment. It's natural. It plant. You know why, chat? Because it plants a seed. It plants a seed. And even if it just wasn't a big ass tree, which said my husband is cheating on me because I seen it on TV, it might have triggered a thought. The thought was the seed. It might have. The woman, she didn't even care that her husband doesn't have a nice fancy car or she doesn't have a big house. But she saw it on social media. It planted a seed. And what did that seed turn into? The tree of jealousy, the tree of unfulfillment, the tree of desire, the tree of a materialistic gain. It plants a seed. Envy, exactly. So I feel like I really hit, the conclusion of what I wanted to get at with my argument. Like I said, this was just a thought experiment. I was just thinking out loud. And we could really push a bunch of other different pendulums. But my conclusion, go live in a cave. Say, no, that's not my conclusion. My conclusion, be aware of what you're consuming. Be aware of how your partner thinks and what they're consuming. And think about what the purpose is in and of itself. And we should go back to purposeful, meaningful relationships. Not just between a man and a woman, but between a man and his community, between a man and his neighbors, which make up his community, between even you and your phone. What is the relationship that we have? You know what I'm saying? That's what I'm saying we go back to. That was the point of our conversation. I got to text it back up a little bit. So you can see the whole jump. All right, chat. And I'm opening it up to the chat. When I upload this on YouTube, that'll be the end of the video. Now we can talk about whatever, because I don't have to keep it on track. We can talk about whatever. Chat. Now, who was following this since the beginning, since the stream started? Who joined kind of late but followed it? You'll see this whole thing on YouTube. So if you join kind of late, it'll be the whole thing from start to finish. I missed most of it. It'll be on YouTube. And then I'll probably upload the VOD anyway after I put it on YouTube. I know this was out of the blue. I know this was spontaneous. But you had to let me cook. It was on my mind, chat. I'm telling you, it was on my mind. And at the end of the day, I seen somebody say something like, how do you think so clearly? You know why I think so clearly? Because the conversation between me and myself has not died. If I weren't able to talk to myself in the ways that I could, I probably would just be like anybody else. A puppet to whatever is given to me. But because I've always questioned my own thoughts, my own beliefs, whatever I see and whatever I think, even if it's coming from wherever, that's able to me to think critically. That's able me to think freely. Because even in these arguments, I have to think outside of myself. What did I say earlier? I said by my morals and my standard, I wouldn't do this. But that doesn't mean I can ignore that this happens, or why it happens, or not acknowledge it. And when people think emotionally, or just not think emotionally, when people let their emotions limit their thoughts, or people let things trigger them and it limits their thoughts, it limits their vision. They stop seeing things as it is. They see things as it should be, or as they're supposed to be seen, instead of seeing it as it is. Now we can really have a discussion. So the weather. No, I heard it snowed today, bro. It was just 80 like 2 days ago. 80 is crazy. It was just like 70. All right, chat. Now I open it up. I had to kind of keep talking and not read chat too much, or really stop too much, because my attention span could just go. But now we can have the discussion about everything that was just said. Dizzy Dunk, welcome to the dojo, B. Let me see. Geopolitical state of the world right now. Have you ever watched it? I'm getting questions like, have you ever watched the show You? After everything we just talked about. I cannot believe y'all. I cannot believe y'all. I want to go deeper than the ocean. Man, do you want to swim or do you want to drown? Do you want to swim or do you want to drown? To answer the question though, I believe I seen like the first season, but it was probably years ago, and my pop was watching it with somebody else, so I kind of just seen it on like the side tip. I don't like for real, bro. That's another thing too that I feel like is the reason I can think the way I do. I do not see a lot of TV. No bullshit. Like over the years, especially like in high school, I can probably count on my hand how many shows I've seen and actually like watched in the last whatever years. Like I'm not necessarily, and this is the thing. You can watch these things and it won't make you become them. But you need a really strong frame of reference. And at my young age, I don't believe I had that yet. I believe I have it now, but I don't believe I had that yet. You know what I'm saying? So has the programming always been here and just progressively gotten more accessible as technology evolved? Yes. And that's the key thing, is that there was always programming to begin with. And I was going to make a whole different conversation about how in our species we compete in other ways that other species don't. Like a lion, like I said, a cheetah might become faster than its prey in order to hunt. But for us, we don't need to run or do that to attain our food. What do? We our access to resources. Intelligence is a big one. But if and you know what's crazy? Y'all remember I did the video on the allegory of the cave? Okay, the ads are running. Annoying. Y'all know I did the video on the allegory of the cave, right? I almost wrote that paper. It ended up being 33 pages. I literally scrapped this idea. I almost wrote that paper, and I should probably wait for the ads to be done before we keep talking, or else they're gonna be super, super lost and confused. Alright, so are the ads done? Are the ads done? Influential music type, but guess what? I just made a whole statement about you can, when you get a strong enough frame of reference, you can move through these things and not become them. Because then you can enjoy it for different reasons that you're aware of. I made that statement earlier, and you know, I said, when you know, people from Philly or whatever city you're from, you look at the condition of your music. You don't have to be a killer to listen to the music and enjoy it. But for real, the reason most people will enjoy that music or write it or make it or etc. is because it's how they're thinking. And it limits their thinking because that's all they know. Now I can listen to the music, enjoy it, and not fall into that and say, "Oh, I need to start rapping about guns and toting guns and be glicked up and have my tats up for me to be tough," because I know myself. But I can still enjoy the music. If somebody is influenceable or impressionable is the more accurate word. If you're very impressionable, you'll listen to that shit and become that shit. You know what I'm saying? But that's what sells. See, then we can just chat conspiracy theories. Why does it sell? But I wasn't gonna have that discussion. What's the last thing y'all heard before the ads played? Music death changes mood. It literally does. We can get into vibrations and you know, our senses, and we can talk. Oh yeah, okay. So what I was saying, it was about no, what's the last thing I heard before the ads cut off? I'm trying to let somebody that watched ads like say it. If you mess with my head. All right, honestly, I think we so far from the conversation that it probably don't even matter. Is you mess with my head. I guess we talk about music then. We can talk about music. We can continue and flow the chat wherever it is. Oh yes, you scrapped the idea of something on your paper, but I'm trying to remember where I was going to take that. Oh, this is what I was going to say. Right. So for us as our species, like I said, we don't compete like a lion or a cheetah or a gazelle or a eagle or something like that. How we compete with each other? Resources. And how do you obtain resources? Opportunities, intelligence, relationships, etc. Right? You can name all these different things, right? But in reality, instead of getting faster than the next cheetah, so I can eat and that cheetah doesn't, what I argued is that we so smart, when you look at the idea of race in and of itself, this is what I was going to write about instead of the allegory of the cave. I was going to write about how that was our means of competing, or a form that we came up to compete with. Because if I can make you think, if I can take a whole group of people and make them think that they are not capable of doing something, they will never even try. Which does what for me? In what ways do I benefit? If we just talked about how we talk about that as human beings, we compete to survive. Resources. Because this group of people will not only never even go for these resources, which exits that competition, makes my competition that much more smaller, but they'll never even think they can or try. And then, now I control the rules of the game 10 times more, because guess what? I can give them what they were meant to compete for. I can tell them what they were meant to do or meant not to be doing, and they'll believe it. Why would you want ownership of your own thoughts and your mind and your own fate? Don't you know your fate is written? You should believe that your fate is written and it's destined for you. Why would I want you to be free and think freely and take your own power of your own life? Shouldn't I tell you to believe it's coming from something I told you to believe in that you might not have even been aware of if you never heard me say it? And then not only that, fuck that. You might not even have to hear it from me. I'm going to give it to your grandmama, your grandfather, your mom, and your dad. So when you hear it from them, they think they're giving you the best interest. They think what they're doing is in your best interest. And on one level it is, but in the bigger picture it is not. Because they didn't even know where it came from. It came from fear-mongering thoughts and ideas. Now, see, Chad, I'm being ambiguous, but I'm being specific at the same time. And then you get trapped up in this. You're not even seeing things as they are. Who is they? We can say black people. Black people's fear of the cops. Meanwhile, another people may see cops and feel safer. Now, I'm using a specific example, but you need not to get caught in the details. Because I think when people get too many details, they lose the bigger picture. Right? It's programming. And I was having a conversation yesterday with my mans, right? And like I said, how can I think about this, chat? I want to blow y'all top off with this. And let me know if this is not a blow your top off idea. How can I hate another person when they are who I could have been? Think about that, chat. How can I hate another person when they are who I could have been? Really question this. I feel like, bruh, listen. I gotta claim my own thoughts, bruh. So now I gotta drop a tweet for somebody to think I done stole somebody else's idea. I gotta claim this, bro. I gotta copyright my own thoughts. Cause I really be spitting, bro. So I'm gonna drop this, bro. I'm gonna drop this real quick, and then we're gonna elaborate on it. We're gonna explain it, right? We're gonna explain it, right? I'm gonna just drop this, right? And we're gonna talk about it, chat. So hopefully it does make sense though. So we won't have to do much explaining, so we can get to the real point. It's very simple. I could elaborate more than that, but I'm gonna just drop that sentence. How can I hate someone when they are who I could have been? What do I mean by that? When you really think about it, as we are born, we're blank slates, right? We just have our instincts and shit like that, right? But we are blank slates. We are sponges. Children are sponges. So if I look at a man who is a 45-year-old man, he's in the KKK, thinks black people are the scum of the earth beneath him, etc. And then I'm on the opposite end of the spectrum. I'm a fucking Black Panther. I'm black power is everything. I'm man, fuck them by any means necessary, and this is what I stand for. So I'm on the other opposite end of the spectrum. And these two groups, hate and are against each other, right? Not even just off of skin. It's deeper than skin color, right? It's about. It's not literally just your skin is darker than mine. It's the ideas that surround your skin being darker than mine. Do I believe it makes you lesser than me or less intelligent, or do I believe that you're a human being just like me? What do I believe around the complexion of a person's skin? It's all beliefs to each his own, right? Now we take those two extremes and you apply what I just said. How can I hate someone when they are who I could have been? This 45-year-old man in the KKK and this 45-year-old man who's a part of the Black Panther Party, and they stand for two different things. He is who I could have been. Because at one point, he was a child. He was a sponge. Now, whatever he absorbed, and that turned him to who he became, or what he is, or who he thinks he is, which I should really is most accurate. It turned him into who he thinks he is. Emmanuel 10:8-13, I appreciate the 9 months. If that turned him into who he thinks he is, what he absorbed as a sponge, because when that baby was born and I asked him who he was, it would not have said a KK member and black people are less than this. Or if I asked that other guy, who are you? He would not have said, I'm black and I'm proud and I'm a Black Panther Party and I'm fighting for the freedom of... The babies would not have said that. They would have just been as they are. but because of what they absorbed, that's who they, or what they became, or who they think they are, right? Not even realizing, how can I hate this person when they are who I could have became or who I could have been? You flip these person's lives, and now they're fighting against each other when they are who the other person equally could have been. And chat, let me know if this is not clicking, because for me it just clicks like that. It just smacks me like a truck. It smacks me like a truck. That person is who I could have been. Because they only grew and were influenced or were sponged to their environment, to their thoughts, to whatever they were programmed by, to whatever they seen or didn't see or experienced, just like I am. But theirs is different from mine. So when I see it as that, when I see what they became, and I start to look at who they are instead of who they became or who they think they are, when I look at who they are, right, I'm now free from all shit that I might have reacted to begin with. Because I know I'm not dealing with them. I'm dealing with who they think they are. I'm not dealing with who they are. I'm dealing with who they think they are. And they are reacting to who they think I am, not who I really am. And this can control me like it controls other people. Why? Like I said earlier in the other conversation, because we can, and most people do, identify strongly with their beliefs. You attack my beliefs, it's an attack on me. Because I cannot identify myself with anything other than what I believe in. Because that's all I know myself to be. Right? Now I'm going to drop the mic. I'm going to drop the mic right now. I'm just thinking out loud. I told you I had this shit popped in my head yesterday. I'm like, yo, watch when I go live. I'm going to just blow some tops off. This is even separate from the whole hour and a half we just had. You know what I'm saying? And this is why, as a free thinker, as I see things and I know and I have this perspective, somebody could come in the stream and say, you hard R monkey black boy. And I wouldn't feel anything. I wouldn't think anything. Because I know who I am. So who this person thinks I am, based on who they were told to think, or what they were told to think, is nothing to me. Not only is it nothing to me because I know who I am, but it's nothing to me because I know that that's not who they know I am. It's who they think I am. And those thoughts that they have were given to them. That's not who they are. And I know it's not who they are. So I feel nothing from it. Did you catch that? You see what I'm saying? Oh, he said, oh my God, get to the reacting. I tell you to unfollow me, and I'm going to ban you in my chat, because you ain't your mind ain't ready for these conversations. Go be entertained and go be distracted. Continue to be. You just won't get it here at this moment. You may come in at a later time, we playing a game or we reacting to something, but we having a conversation right now. Right? L consciousness. This is the thing. I know that it's not I don't really have to care for that. You know why? Because maybe he really hit that point where he wanted to troll rather than think. Or he wanted to go back into, oh my God, bro, react. Like, listen, he might have mentally checked out. I can't hate him for his limitations. Or maybe he cannot even comprehend or consume what I'm trying to drop. It's too much. I don't know. I'm just speculating on why he would have preferred a reaction and some entertainment rather than some thought-provoking things. It may have made him uncomfortable. I don't know. I'm not judging him for it. I'm just saying. This is what you see. Now catch this. I can take this and I can even spin it to another conversation. That person coming in the chat and saying this, I have two choices. Either jump to reacting and appeal to my environment and what they can maintain. Because I'm pretty sure most people in here, I mean, if you stayed and you didn't jump in the chat like him, even me, myself, right? It's challenging. It's a deep thought. It's challenging. It's not the easiest thing to do. The easiest thing to do is just go follow my habits and just lolly-dolly-da and have fun. Instead of talk about things that are challenging and fulfilling. I'm making this conscious choice, though. So even for me, that's why I can relate to that guy and see where he's coming from. And I don't judge him. But if you are choosing to stay here, right? I had two choices. Appeal to that and succumb to my desires. Maybe I do want to react. Maybe I do want to play the game and just have fun. Maybe I just want to be a simple guy, man. I don't want to be here for all this deep shit, right? Maybe a part of me says that. Now I have two choices with that person jumping in the chat and you know, reaffirming that. I can appeal to that and just go straight to the entertainment and just jump into that and ignore who I am. Or I can stand firm in who I am and repel whatever is outside of that. And why am I saying this? Because I'm looking at you. And I'm saying that you'll be in your environments, you'll be in your life, and you'll have your friends, your family, whatever it is that can limit who you know you are. You have two choices. Be who they think you are, or be who you know you are. Two choices. Simple choice. Now, a part of you may like being who they think you are, because it may feel good. It pleases people when you are who they think you are. It pleases them. Even if it's negative. This is why people like to judge. People like to shame others. It pleases them. And a part of you, whether you're unpleased by it or pleased by it, you know you're pleasing them. So this is like a dopamine. This is like short bursts of dopamine. It feels good, right? But it does not feel good to not be pleasing people. It does not feel good to challenge people. It does not feel good to go against the grain. It does not feel good. You'll be called many names of many things. But again, this all just goes back to who people think you are. And if they can control you with who they think you are, you already lost. Why? Because who they think you are or what they call you or the meaning behind the words that they use, if you allow it to control you, you are being herded like a sheep, like a sheep of the crowd. They control you. And this is how people control others. They get them to subscribe to their meanings and their beliefs. So when I call you this word, you know what it means, and you agree that this is what it means. And you abide by the rules or the laws because it's good for you. Why? Because I told you it is. But when I say fuck that, I follow my rules, my laws, my codes, my matrix, as people say, and I go against that. Now what's the next step, chat? What is the next step for the person trying to impose the thoughts on that person? What is the next step? Let's see if y'all get it. What's the next step? I'm going to give the chat like a good 10 seconds to think about that. Bam! J Money got it. J Money got it. Outcast them. You outcast them. Fuck, I can't control them and convince them. Well, let me get the power of the people. Haru the Great, I appreciate the 15 months.
You.
Exactly. You use the crowd. You use the people you can control. And the problem is, if the person you are trying to outcast has more power over the people than you, then guess what? Especially if it goes against what you want. This was the whole point of the allegory of the cave. This was the whole point of Plato writing that about Socrates when they had him murdered. This is the whole point of Jesus, the story of Jesus Christ. This is the whole point of Malcolm X. This is the whole point of Fred Hampton. We can name many, many different people in times period. History repeats itself. You see what I'm saying? The story of Caesar. We can just see it as it is. You see what I'm saying? And why does this work? Let's talk about some psychology, Potters. Why does this work? Because there's things called public opinion. And actually, I just remembered what I wanted to talk about earlier because somebody said, "Is this new?" No, it's not new. The thing is that it's so easy to do it now because everybody has a phone. The difference is that it might have been in the newspapers. It might have been, let's go back. Now it's on the phones, tablets, and screens. But before that, people didn't have phones. They might have had TVs. Well, before that, what did they have? Newspapers. Before that, what did they have, chat? No newspapers, no phones, no TV screens, no news, none of that. What did people have? Oh, I forgot radios. Excuse me. I forgot radios in between that. Word of mouth. And then with word of mouth, it is just the same as the phone, except if I yell out loud, I'm limited to how many people can hear me. If I drop a tweet, I can now use the shares, the retweets, going viral. It can spread much quicker, right? You can look at it like a sickness. COVID, the reason COVID spread so bad is because of airplanes and traveling. If COVID happened in Italy and there were no planes, then maybe somebody would have caught it and passed it on a boat. But if I'm not near docks, I'm not going to catch that shit. I'm in the middle of my country. But because of airports, cars, planes, buses, this shit spreads much easier. Look at that like word of mouth and how it spreads like social media and shit like that. Right? And now what I'm getting at is that with word of mouth, this is another thing that I believe Plato criticized. I don't think it was Plato though. But you had what was called the sophists. Right? The sophists back in Greek. And they developed rhetoric. They developed like all the shit of communication we talk about now. And persuasion, really. They developed persuasion. And I think it was Plato. And I kind of don't think it was. But he criticized the sophists, right? In talking about persuasion and shit like that. Because this is what his criticism was. You guys don't even care about getting to the point. Or answering the question. Or the getting somewhere. All y'all care about is convincing people that you're right. And how good you can get at convincing people. And this is why a good lawyer can win a bad case. God, everybody knows the guy did it. But, you see what I'm saying? So, but we'll get into a whole different conversation of like, innocent to proven guilty. If you can't prove it, then it's a whole different conversation. It's a whole different conversation. We don't want to go that. We'll go left, right? I'm just following the word of mouth part and how limited it is compared to social media. And even on that level, it's limited community to community to community. And there's also a time limit as well. It may take weeks for something to spread. Or a belief to be adopted popularly. Right? When religions spread, this shit took time. It wasn't just a tweet or a video that everybody watched and like, oh, we already got it. Like, no, this shit took time. They had to go here, conquer this place, teach them this. And then those people had to teach their children. So then it keeps returning and returning. But then they also had to go to other lands and become dominant. But guess what? When people default on those beliefs, number one, if you don't erase a people's history so they don't have a belief to combat it with, right? So that's another thing too. Like we said earlier, when you can't convince that person to question themselves, You have to convince others and then get the majority vote. When that person has more influence and power over the majority vote than you do, now you got to get rid of that person. And the history has repeated itself in that. Now what I'm talking about is, now you're getting the majority to believe what you believe, or now you're convincing everybody. Then what happens is that person who was challenging what you thought to begin with, let's say they have their group of people, right? In order to beat them and keep going, you have to make those people forget what they were believing in to begin with in order to replace it. This is like surface level shit, because this is just propaganda. This is like how people conquer lands, and this is why Hitler, when he was doing shit in Europe, what did Hitler do? This is Hitler understood the value of culture and the value of beliefs and values. Hitler understood this, which is why he was so influential as a conqueror. What did he do to these other countries? First of all, he gave the Nazis a symbol to believe in. And he changed the definition of the symbol itself, the swastika. So already he established their symbol to believe and stand for. Then when he went to these other countries and conquered them, he destroyed their statues. He destroyed their art, which told stories. Which told stories. He destroyed their monuments. He stole a lot of their shit to sell it, right? But not only that, when he conquered these places, he took the flag and threw it over the buildings and burned their buildings down. Because I can kill as many people as I want, but I need to kill their beliefs. Because that's what they'll hold on to. That's where they'll get their strength from, their willpower. Right? Right? Are y'all following me, chat? Now, this is just completely off the charts. This is a whole separate situation. We talking about Hitler. We're talking about Hitler to use an example of why it's powerful, and when you conquer somebody's beliefs instead of just physically them as people, and you get them to believe your beliefs, and you take over with your beliefs. Right? All right. Hitler taking away the culture, right? And that's because, and I'm just using this example, right, to push the point that I'm getting at. That's because he understood the value of what people believe in. And if they had nothing to believe in, then the people would take what he was telling them to believe in. Take my symbol, take my ideologies, take my thoughts, take my beliefs, take my everything, and identify with this, because this is who you are now. And if they don't know who they are, right, then they'll just take it on. That's just natural human psychology. Right. Now, I forget what I was getting at before that, but we were just talking about persuasion and we were just having random thoughts, chat. So I opened it up now because I literally forgot what I was about to get at. I literally forgot what I was about to get at. I mean, that's what you choose to believe. That's what you believe. Again, you even when people try to blow the cap off with shit like that, that's just another idea that somebody's getting you to subscribe to, brother. You read my message and tell me I did wrong. We talking right now. If I only work on focusing everything I can control, what steps can I make to master myself? Whatever ones you need. I can't tell you because I don't know you. But you know yourself. So you should be able to tell yourself if you genuinely look for the answer. No matter how long it takes. So I need to kill you. Kill who? Well, you don't know yourself? Well, most likely you don't, because number one, it's not easy to. Number two, you've been being told who you are since damn near the day you was born. I mean, just think about it. You were given a name. When think about it, chat. I don't know. Maybe I'm just now. I'm really just chatting. Like, who knows what the baby's name is? The baby don't know. Obviously, it's a baby. It's like has no thoughts, it has no brain. But like, what if we gave ourselves our own names, bro? Like, this sound like chatting. This might be completely just chatting. Like, I don't know if I'm burning the kitchen or I'm cooking, but I'm telling you, I'm just thinking out loud. Like, who the fuck? How was I given my name? Like, so from the day I was born, I was already being told who I was. Never really allowing myself to know who I am. I already was set back on the journey of knowing who I am, because I already was told who I am to begin with. Now, and even another, this is just chatting. It feels like just chatting, because even on top of that, even if you weren't given your name, your environment would have still told you who you were. Native Americans had to earn their names. That's tough. That's why I was chatting, because it wouldn't make any difference. Either way, you would have still had to know who you are. My name is Daddy. I don't know. If you didn't tell kids their name, they probably would call themselves something stupid. Like fucking, I don't fucking know. You know, whatever the kids watch, they going to call themselves. But think about that, though. They just going, it's still a sponge. They can just consume whatever. If you think about it, somebody had to give themselves a name, probably. Right. Now, the point being is that these names hold meaning, right? Because when you claim that, you identify with that. Now, older times, our last names meant more. Oh, that's such and such's boy, or that's such and such's daughter. Because they name meant more, right? And we used to put a lot of meaning and value behind, the legacy that comes from your family or your lineage. And then already when you were born, you had something to stand for. Like, we are blanks, we don't do that. Or you are a blank, we don't do that. Like, you're a golden, we don't outburst, we don't have outbursts of anger. We hold our own and we stand and always think strategic. Like, this is something that you have to identify with in order to abide by, right? And that's why I don't think it's bad. I'm not saying it's bad or it's good, but you are always being told who you are. Again, something that could be just rambled on and on. I'm gonna just keep looking at the chat though. I think how you find yourself putting yourself through situations, that's when you come out. Or that's when all you have is the real you. You can't run to your thoughts. You can't run to help for someone else or something else. But listen, it happens. People don't always go within themselves when they're dealing with a lot of stress or a lot of problems. They might go to something or whatever. They might run from everything. Who knows? I don't know if Ty's last name is basic. My last name is pretty basic. It's Golden. Golden. I don't think it's basic though. I love my last name. Some people got random ass last names. My shit is Golden. It's like I was destined to be great. Now that's the cocky me. Do you also think the most dangerous creatures? We the most dangerous creatures. I mean, we made ourselves the most dangerous creatures. I mean, we could push a button and kill more species, animals, trees, nature, everything on the fucking planet. In a second, like, that's crazy. We could do biological warfare, spiritual warfare, attacking someone's beliefs. It's so many ways that we can harm a person from the inside out. Or the outside in, just shoot them. So we made ourselves dangerous, but like as far as like amongst the other species, like just naturally, like if you put you in the same room with a tiger, bro, you're dead. Throw you in the ocean with an octopus, you're dead. Or a shark, or something that wants to kill you. You're that. Have you noticed when you ask people who they are, you get their name and start talking about their beliefs? I mean, that's because that is the understood context of what the person is saying. Like, who are you? Oh, my name is blank. This is what you can call me. Clearly, we're not talking about something super deep right then and there. You know what I'm saying? I'm killing a tiger. Talk for yourself. I was talking about y'all. I really wasn't talking about me. Like I said, you ain't never seen me and a tiger in the same room and me not come out that room. That's all I'm saying. What's your thoughts on love? What you mean? Chad, we might get into the reactions in the Reddit now. I ain't gonna lie. And I'm gonna make sure I remember to put that whole conversation that we just had in the beginning on YouTube. About his name is not the truth, so we don't so at least about it. Come on, brother. Call an ambulance, but not for me. Bro, as soon as I change like discussions or topics, the first message I see, the nigga said overtime Megan's so bad. Yo, that one nigga saying finally on God he is. But I would definitely have a lot more views if I just bought baddies on stream, did e-dates, blind dates, did a bunch of different collabs with different people doing what they do. But I would much rather, what they say, 10 lions than 100 sheep. And I believe when I talk of things of substance, of purpose, death before dishonor, and things of integrity, I'm attracting lions. You know what I'm saying? So I take a 560 of people that can retain their attention on a topic like this, than 5,000 for people that would show up for me talking to some chick on stream. That's just me. I also realize that it is in the slim or the rare that people like to think. Most people like to be entertained. They don't like to entertain thoughts, but they like to be entertained. So we are in the slimmer, lower end of the population. And if I was doing this for views and clout or money, I would be doing a lot of different things. But I'm glad, bro, this fucking raisin is stuck in my teeth. But I'm glad that I know who I am. Bro, this bird should be drawn. Not everyone can be a man. Rule number 1.